Good afternoon, YouTube family. How are you? And for those of you that don't know, I'm Valerie Milner. I'm an author and a self-empowerment teacher. And here on my channel, it's all about helping the high-achieving businesswoman cultivate healing and rebuild after a toxic relationship. So it's on this platform, my desire is to help women reinvent, to come back from a setback and just become the best version of yourselves all around. So that's what this platform is about. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me share with you a topic today that I would like to discuss with you. And I would like to bring with you today how to know if you have a controlling partner. How to know if you're in a relationship with a controlling partner. Now, this topic is something that is personal for me. I've dealt with being in a controlling marriage before, so I know what it's like firsthand. I can spot it a mile away, and I wanted to share it with you because I know that there are probably other people that are dealing with the same thing. And if it's anything that I could do to help others in what I went through and just in sharing and enlightening, then that's what I want to do. So I'm going to bring to you about 5 different ways or tips, if you want to call. I don't know if they're tips. I wouldn't really call it a tip. But 5 different ways that you could know if you're possibly in a relationship with a controlling person. And I took some notes. I'm going to reference to some of my notes. Number 1, and this is not in any chronological order, so it doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. This is just the way that I'm delivering it to you today. Number 1, a lot of times your partner will desire that you do everything with them. Now, what I mean by that, as an example, don't get me wrong, spending quality time with your significant other is natural and it's also even needed. So I'm not talking about the natural, healthy quality time, but a lot of times if you with someone that's controlling, they basically want it to just be you and them. And they would be fine if the world fell off the face of the earth and it was just you and them. They literally want to do everything together with you, whether it's going to the store, to an event, just wherever. They want to do everything with you, and you feel smothered. At least I did. So that person a lot of times wants to do absolutely everything with you. And if they can't do something with you that they want, they get angry. They actually get upset about it. And that's not normal, neither is it natural. So that's one way of knowing. Number 2, another way of knowing if you might possibly be in a relationship with a controlling person would be a lot of times that person will speak for you before you can even respond to a question. For an example, if you're out in a social setting or even at home and others are around and someone just happened to ask you a question, well, your partner will inadvertently insert themselves and answer you before you can even open your mouth to respond. So that's what I mean by answering a question for you before you can even respond. And that has happened to me. I have been literally out in a social setting. Someone was actually talking to me. They were not talking to my spouse. And they asked the question. He answered the question before I could even answer it. And it was embarrassing. It just wasn't right. I didn't feel good about it. The other person looked, it just wasn't right. And so a lot of times the person will speak for you in instances when you didn't ask for their assistance and when they weren't even spoken to. They would just invite themselves in the conversation. Okay, and then I would say number 3, another way of knowing would be a lot of times the person would get angry if you participate in an activity that they're not in and included with you. A lot of times they get angry and be jealous-hearted. For instance, let's say, for instance, you're invited to be in a wedding, like I was, and your significant other is an onsetter. He's one of the guests watching. Really got angry, because I was in a event that he wasn't included in. And it just got to the point wasn't friendly at all with the other guests, and got angry, and it caused a rift between us after I left the event with my spouse when I got home. So a lot of times they just get upset if you're invited and you're doing something and they're not a part of it. It will cause friction in the relationships, and you'll find yourself having to give a response. You'll be in an argument, and it's just no good. So that's another way of knowing. And number 4, a lot of times if you're away from home and you've gone somewhere, whether it be out of town or you've just ran an errand, that particular person, and this could be male or female, so, controlling, characteristics can be in either sex. It's not just men. You got women that are controlling as well. But a lot of times the partner will call you numerous times. Now, in my instance, when I was dealing with it, this was way before cell phones and internet. So it wasn't any calling on the cell phone. But if you went to someone's house, he would call to find out what time you're coming home, how long you're going to be there. And it's just really a nuisance. It's a nuisance. So if you find yourself with a person and you cannot be out of their sight and out of their space for any significant amount of time, and it don't even have to be significant. It could just be a quick hour or less. And the person's already calling, inquiring on when you're coming home and how long you're going to be. And, you said you wasn't going to be that long. Those types of things, you get those type of responses. You're dealing with them calling you constantly unnecessary when there's nothing wrong. Then you know what you might be dealing with. And number 5, this is the last one that I have on my list, but of course it's not the only 5. A lot of times isolate you, the desire to isolate you. Now, they might not call it isolation, but that's what it is. A lot of times when they want to move away, perhaps maybe against your will, you really don't want to move, but you do it anyway just because you're trying to, you're trying to appease, you're trying to keep the peace. Like I was a peacemaker, which, and to some degrees it's a wonderful thing to be a peacemaker, but in some ways it could be to your demise. And I don't want to say demise because that's not, really good to say, but it could be to a fault sometimes. But a lot of times they want to keep you away from the people that you love and like. They want you all to themselves at all times. And I must admit, I just want to conclude with admitting that at first, I thought that it was sweet, that this person wanted to spend all their time with me. But over time, you come to realize, hey, wait a minute, this, it feels smothering. You can't, spread your wings, so to speak. And I felt like I couldn't really be myself. And by nature, I'm a social person. I'm social. I like to meet people. I like to talk, not inappropriately, but just in a natural way. And it became to be, it was a form of bondage when you're in a relationship, and especially like a marriage where you're actually committed. And it's not just a matter of just getting up and leaving. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm just getting up and leaving. When you're in a marriage, it's just much more complicated. It's not that simple and easy to do. So I just want to share with you today some tips or ways, I would rather say that, on knowing if you might possibly be in a relationship with a controlling partner. And to just know that it's not normal, it's not natural to be in a relationship where a person does not want you to do anything outside of them, because we all are individuals. We come into this world, we're born by ourselves, and we're going to transition and leave this world by ourselves. So when you're in a healthy relationship, that person should want the best for you. If you want to go and spend quality time, or go and just spend some time, have lunch or maybe dinner with a girlfriend, or vice versa. If it's a male, with your male guy friend, spend time with your family or whatever, just normal life activities, it should not be a problem. And if it is, then that means there's a red flag. And I would advise that you really take, really look at that, take some self-examination. And if you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend type relationship, reevaluate if you should even stay in that, because it only gets worse. If the person does not get healed, first of all, if they do not acknowledge and don't realize their problem, once you have a conversation and talk with them in love, and they can't accept it or don't think they have a problem, it's not going to get better. It will only get worse. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you today, and I hope this is helpful. You could take some of what I've said to heart, and if you happen to find yourself dealing with some of these characteristics, really look at that. And if you're in a marriage, have a conversation with your spouse and let them know how you're feeling and how this makes you feel, and see how they respond. Hopefully that they will respond positively and pull back. and it would not be an issue for you. However, if it's not, then you might want to try to even, maybe take the next step and maybe look into getting some counseling and just kind of get to the root of the problem of what's causing the person to be that way, and to see if they're on board to work on it and to actually, be healed from that. And if you in a boyfriend-girlfriend type relationship, you really want to look at it and just decide if that's something if it doesn't get better, if something you want to just live with or stay in with. Okay, so I want to share that with you. I hope it helps. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to it and share it with someone that you think can benefit from it. Okay, I love you guys, and once again, and I'll see you next week. So just stay tuned, because I'll be posting every Sunday. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and you be safe. Bye bye.